I'm Steve Lascalzo, and this is The Way. Thanks for joining us for another Skeleton Crew review. This time, Episode 3 of Season 1. Three episodes down, and this is one of the most enjoyable Star Wars shows that they've produced. I really still like The Mandalorian. Season 1 and Season 2, I like those the best. Andor may be one of the best Star Wars products out there, even including some of the movies. But Skeleton Crew has just been very enjoyable. I've enjoyed watching it. I look forward to it. I like talking about it. And the mystery is still intriguing. The characters all make sense to me. They're relatable. And they're all also marketable. We meet kh'ymm in episode 3. This owl kitten-like creature. And yes, it may be untrustworthy, but it sure is cute. And it probably will sell some toys. I once again have a co-host, a guest co-host. And for this episode, we didn't get a chance to immediately record our thoughts, so you'll have to bear with us. We do go through the episode bit by bit, but there might be something we're not totally accurate about. Our thoughts are not as fresh as they have been in the past. That's all I want to say about that. So, without further ado,
this is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
This episode is different because we didn't just finish watching episode 3. It's been a day. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday, I think.
So it was Saturday, right? Saturday afternoon we watched it, and we did not have an opportunity to record any of our thoughts. So we'll have to kind of remember and do our best to remember everything we saw. But it wasn't a very long episode, so there wasn't much to it.
I think it was the second longest.
The second longest. And we started out by... We joined the parents on the home planet, and there was a droid that came and talked to them. What did you think about that scene? Were you thinking, like, as a kid, like, must be what parents are like? Or did you think the parents were mean, upset for no reason, worried for no reason? Like, what did you think about that scene with the parents?
Well, I think they have, like, a right to be scared because they don't know where their children are, and all they want to do is protect them.
Do you think it was a little mysterious that the droid was like, yeah, sorry, we're not going to go find them?
Yeah.
Does that bother you at all, or do you think that there's a reason why the planet is being...
I think they just don't want to be attacked by pirates, because the other planets, they got destroyed. And when they got destroyed, that was the only planet that got left. Maybe they were scared into hiding.
So they have a reason then to be a little scared.
These are our kids. I'm submitting a petition for an immediate audience with the supervisor.
Everybody, please remain calm.
After that scene, we go back to the kids. They just broke out of prison. So this guy, who they don't know yet, we find out later his name is Jod, right? But he keeps doing these mysterious, magical-looking things. Do you think Fern is right to be a little worried about what this guy is doing? Or do you think, if you were in that group, would you side with the girls or the boys as far as this guy's concerned?
I mean, Fern has a right to be scared because S1E3 told him don't trust anybody, and that can be understandable because they found him in a pirate hangout place. And if they found him in a pirate hangout place, I mean, you have to be a little suspicious about that, but they don't really have another choice. That guy was kind of their only option. Everybody else basically either wanted to steal stuff from them or try to kill them.
I like her.
He helped them, right?
Yeah.
He did help them get to their ship. And then he says, like, all right, let's get out of here. Let's leave the droid behind. They're like, no. So would you have been like, let's go get the droid because the droid can help us?
I mean, looking at this, watching them, I mean, I think that it was good that they decided to go back for it. I would have, because he's probably going to have some, like, major part later on, and maybe he's going to help them or something.
Okay. And do you think there's anything to... I don't know if you didn't watch The Mandalorian, but in that show, at the very beginning of the show, The Mandalorian didn't trust droids. For some reason, now we find out later in that show, it's because when he was a little kid, droids came and they like destroyed his planet and killed his parents. Clearly doesn't trust... He didn't treat the droid nice. He like treated it like a slave. Do you think people in this universe are... Do you think a person who treats a droid like that is a worse person than someone who is nice to the droids? Even though the droids, they don't have any feelings. They don't, you know what I mean? They're not living beings. But you still think less of somebody who treats droids poorly?
Starting off, I think that there's probably a reason why he doesn't like him. Maybe there's something in his past, just like the Mandalorian or something. I like to be kind and stuff, so I mean, I would kind of judge them a little bit, but I would have to get more data and evidence on, like, does treating a droid define who you are? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess early on, I think it maybe says something about the person. Like, they don't know him, but they just met SM-33 too, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like it's one thing if they had a droid for their whole life and then all of a sudden somebody's treating their droid poorly, but they just met SM-33 and the security droids on their planet aren't like personal helpers, except Fern has that housekeeper droid who she wasn't very nice to, right? Remember way back in episode 1, she ran a memory wipe, so she doesn't necessarily treat droids great. So I think that's a little interesting, and I think there's probably more to it than that, but we'll have to see.
This guy was in jail. So were we. Yeah, and he's got magic powers.
So that means we can trust him?
So he goes back and saves the guy, and somehow he gets away, and then they get away again and go and find this guy Jod's old friend. And what did you think about them flying through hyperspace? He tells them to go to sleep, and Fern's like, "Oh, I'm not tired." And then the next thing we see is she's sleeping, and then he has that little moment with KB where there's something strange with her, right? Like she's different than all the other kids. She's got the cybernetics,
yes,
but then her parents, at the beginning, were like, "She's got medical needs." Do you think maybe there's something to her that's special? Like every one of the kids obviously has something special, but do you think maybe there's something different about KB?
That evidence, maybe she's just, compared to our world, a kid with a disability, so, you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. So every one of them has something different, like Neil, seems like he's really tender-hearted and kind, and Wim is, adventurous and, kind of messy and sloppy, and then Fern is, all bossy, and then KB is kind of almost like she's in between. She's almost kind of like part robot, which... that guy Jod doesn't really like droids, right? So maybe he holds something against her. So it'll be interesting to see how they all fit together as a team. Mm-hmm. And then they go and meet somebody that he knows. He's like, well, I wouldn't exactly call her a friend. She might betray us. She might stab us in the back. And they don't even know what that term means, get stabbed in the back. If you're walking along and then your friend's like, yeah, let's come on. And then... But you're safe, so you turn your back to them, so they stab you in the back, right? That would be like a betrayal. But so they're going to visit a person or a creature that he already knows is going to betray them. That's what do you think the kids must be thinking? Like, oh, great! So now we found a pirate robot. We go to a pirate place. We get stuck in a cell with a pirate, and now this pirate that we don't know is going to take us to another pirate. Do you think the kids... I mean, it was kind of split down the middle. Wim and Neil are like, let's trust him, let's go. And Fern's like, oh no, me and KB vote the other way. And then she's like, well, we're only kids. We can't do this alone. Where would you have sided with that decision to go with him?
I mean, normally when I'm left with a decision... I get really scared, and so maybe I would go with Neil and Wim because I'm in a completely different place and I don't know where I am. So at this point, if they seem to have good intentions and they we get to a point where they have seemed to help us, I mean, I guess I'm gonna trust them then.
he says, like, he keeps acting like a Jedi, right? But then later on, he's like, I never actually said I was a Jedi, and, like, that's not what Jedi do. So, I know you don't know everything about Star Wars, but do you think, like, Jedi means good, and then the bad guys are bad? Like, do you think that that's always the case? Or, let me ask you a different question. Do you think that should always be the case? Like, the good guys should always be the good guys in the show? I know in real life, it's not always the same that way, right? Sometimes people who are good guys do bad things. But do you think in this show, do you think that the Jedi should always be good and that the bad guys should always stay bad? What do you think about that?
Can I compare this to another Star Wars show? When we were watching the Lego Star Wars thing, he had Jedi powers, but he didn't really know how to use them. Mm-hmm. So maybe he does. Maybe Jod has them, but he just doesn't really know how to use them, or maybe he doesn't know what he should be doing with them.
Okay, I like that answer. Then we come to kh'ymm. It's like an owl with a cat face. How adorable do you think kh'ymm is?
Ah, so cute.
So rank them then, I guess. Do you like Neil more, or do you like kh'ymm more, or do you like some other alien? Like, what's your ranking of cutest to I don't really like them that much?
Owl cat, cutest.
Okay, kh'ymm, cutest.
Yes.
Neil, where does he rank?
He's cute.
He's cute too?
Yes.
But below the owl cat?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know that that's what the name of the alien is. I just call it owl cat because it's got a cat face. It was kind of cute. I watched back and I was like, oh, it's not just an owl. It's an owl with a cat face. So that looked pretty funny. But she is kind of mysterious too. So do you think maybe Disney did it on purpose? Like, oh, here, we'll put this cute creature. But she does betray them.
Yes.
So do you think that they did that on purpose?
Yeah, probably.
Why do you think they would want to make a bad guy a cute, cuddly creature? Because they don't know this guy Jod, right? He's not cute and cuddly. He's kind of mysterious and dangerous. And now they're going to meet another pirate kind of person, and they're all cute and cuddly. So do you trust everything she says? Or just because we know now that she betrayed them, do you not trust her at all? So who do you trust more, Jod or this kh'ymm who says, I'm going to turn this guy in because the kids need to be safe? Who do you trust more?
I mean, normally I would go with Jod, but when they're leaving kh'ymm, she tells KB that if you ever need her, that you can call her. So maybe she knows something about Jod that the kids don't. Maybe she knows that he's gonna betray them or something.
He does kind of treat it like he's after, like he told that one pirate that was catching him, like, I may have found my biggest score, but clearly he wants treasure, right? If it came down to the treasure or the kids, what do you think he would pick? It's either I save the kids or I get the treasure. You can't have both. What do you think Jod right now at this moment would choose?
Right now he'd probably choose the treasure, but maybe later on in the show, he's gonna like create a bond with the children, and then maybe he's gonna be faced with that decision later, and then maybe he's gonna choose the kids.
Okay. I think he would still choose the kids even right now. I think he's good at heart. I think he's doing what he can to survive because the Jedi were wiped out by Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader. And I really am interested in this mystery. What do you think? Now, they called the planets the 9 jewels. And like you said before, most of them have been destroyed. Do you think that's true? What if this story about them being destroyed is another kind of story? Do you trust what Kim said about these planets?
I think that maybe, I mean, in the first episode when they were gonna leave the barrier, like they were close to it or something, we didn't really see any planets. There weren't many, so maybe Kim was right about them being destroyed, but maybe she just didn't tell them the whole truth. Maybe she just told a half truth about what happened, just to not scare the kids or something. I don't know.
What do you want to happen in this show? What do you want after 3 episodes? What do you want to have happen for the kids? Do you want them to get back home? No danger, and there's still a mystery? Do you want them to be able to go and see the rest of the world? What do you want?
Can I say what I think's gonna happen? I think
Absolutely.
they're gonna get back home. they're going to find out the treasure, and then they're going to realize that they've been lied to, and then there's going to go into this giant war thing.
Who's gonna be at war? The Republic and the planet, or the droids and the pirates
maybe the pirates and the planet or something? Because in the first episode, we went to the at-attin planet and all the kids.
Mm-hmm.
There was a scene with all the pirates attacking. Maybe that
the
ship,
wolf-looking pirate maybe leads a bunch of pirates there, and then
yeah.
And then what do you think? Like, do they survive or do they get wiped out? And then
I think they're gonna survive, but I think there's gonna be some giant plot twist in between of that. You know.
All right. Well, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
That's not a Jedi thing. The Jedi say.
I think it's safe to say that everyone in this house is looking forward to the next episode, which comes out December 17th, 2024.
Yeah, we know.
Next for This Is The Way podcast will be our recap and discussion episode where we do a more in-depth dive on things that we've seen. I know already, I can tell you, there's Star Tours references that will be made, and there's a lot of Aurebesh that we're not going to translate line by line, but we'll rely on the internet for. So there's a lot in this episode, a lot more theorizing as well, and that will be released hopefully before the next episode airs. But if not, just bear with us. We are getting these episodes out. It takes a lot to produce them, but we're doing our best. And so hopefully you've got this review, and then the recap and discussion podcast will be out. And if you'd like to send in your thoughts, please do so. This is the way podcast at gmail.com. You can connect with us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. The best way to do it, though, is email. Thanks for joining me for This Is The Way podcast's Season 1, Episode 3 review of Skeleton Crew. I'm Steve Lascalzo, and this is The Way. May the Force be with you, always.